Okay, sorry, I'm not going to be able to show you on the TV. We're just got through with dealing with the hurricane, so I literally just pulling everything back into my game room because it's like a low spot and I didn't want to get everything ruined. But besides the point, so here's your Dreamcast. As you can see, mine is still got a regular eye in there, hasn't been converted to nothing. You have your Dreamcast. You have, this is what I like to use. I like to use the Toro, and I think you can also use the Hanzo. The only difference is the Hanzo don't have the VGA. I mean the SCART cable port on it, so it only does VGA. If you buy the Toro, you can use SCART, um, and on the Dreamcast, if you use um, VGA, you run the risk of being able to only run certain games. That's why I done away with the Atlanta, which is over here, which I highly recommend. You can, on the back of it, as you can see, it has dual VGA, so you can actually hook up, two monitors if you wanted to. I've already done it, checked it, but on the VGA, it uses a component to VGA cord, and then that allows you can hook up your PlayStation, but it'll give it like a green signal when it first boot up, and after that, it'll run pretty much anything to 480i and up. That'll work, and you can upscale it up to 1080p, which looks great. The PS2 at 1080p looks awesome. So, but anyways, with the SCART allows you to play every game, no problems. That's why I use it, and so basically you would just pretty much, it's the same thing with the thing. You just plug it in the back of your Dreamcast, just like this. If you were going to VGA, you would basically use. Let's see what I did. I don't. I use this. Well, the VGA cord's packed up in a box for the Dreamcast. But anyways, you would do VGA in here, and then you just buy those Tomy cables, which a lot of people don't like using them, but there's not much you can really do. But if you use the other device, you don't have to use it. You can use the regular VGA cable and a regular audio with a splitter. And see, my Dreamcast mainly was using that Lana, so you can do that. But I opted to use the SCART, and so as you can see, these are my SCART cables that I use. And basically, hang on a second. So then it would go from Dreamcast to the Toro, out the SCART, and then it would go into my Hydra. Um, and then once it goes into the Hydra, it would go on the input, and then you would hook up another SCART on the output, and then it would go to I use this OSSC. You see the SCART component, VGA. So those are all the signals it will take in. It does input, but it only outputs in HDMI. So, and then plus you have to have a little millimeter adapter, but I use surround sound, so I don't have to use, so it don't even go in to my OSSC. Audio doesn't go into my OSSC because I actually take audio from my Hydra to my surround sound. So that's just my setup. And that's for the That's for a 4K or HD, a modern TV, I should say, just modern TV. It'll work on 4K TV. Um, Now, if I'm going to play it on the CRT TV, you have to use component cables, and I use this as my shining bow. So it's basically be SCART component. As long as you have a component TV, CRT TV, you can use this, and you just put component in or component out because it goes to the TV, and the input would also go. I would hook another SCART cable to this, which this will do a dual setup where I can run two monitors at the same time, so I can have all my consoles that I got, and then whenever I power one on, you can only power one on at one time, and it'll project on both TVs. And that's pretty much my setup. And if you got any questions, just let me know. But the Toro box is really um, on the OSSC. It has some gains. It's very marginal as far as the gains on it, but I think the Toro runs about. I want to think they run about $80 or something. They're made in Turkey, so and these are all your switches and stuff. So I know you can see. Let me and see the VGA to RGB. That does. That's a button that you can use on the Dreamcast instead of. Some of the games you would have to, if you wanted to force a 480p game to work, you would put you would put your game in, and before the load screen, you would hear it kind of click. You just unplug it from the back of your Dreamcast right here, and then you would have to plug it in just right, and it would bypass it, allowing the game to boot up and play in 480p. It's like a little trick that you can do. Well, on the Toro, it has an actual switch, so you can just right at the time you can put it in regular mode, which is RGB, and then you would flip it. So, and then you have your line doubling, and then the width, and then your evens and your odds that you can change and stuff. So, but I don't ever use that. I don't even use line doubling on it. Since I use the OSSC, it does everything that the Dreamcast can ever imagine. But that's pretty much my setup. Like I said, it's going to be a few days before I can get around to actually doing my setup.